there's so much to tell you, there's so much going on, but for now, let's focus in on being here and now together. And this wonderful coming together that we do the third Sunday of the month for our service. It's so wonderful to have this opportunity to see you all and to have so many cameras on that we physically can see each other. It's a really important thing. You know, we say in Unity, we're here by divine appointment. We've made a commitment to ourselves to show up to this time together, which is not just to take part in a service and enjoy being together. It's more than that. It's showing up to connect with our divinity, seeing the divine in ourselves and seeing the divine in each other, and that connection we have through God, in and with God as our source. So it's really important to acknowledge that inner calling that is like that wake-up call in us, calling us to awaken to who we are, to be our light, to shine our light, and to help others know their light. And that really is an underlying reason for being here this afternoon. And I acknowledge that in every single one of you that's showing up today. So for those of you that can, what we do now is we light our candle. So if you have a candle that you can light with a match or just a battery one that you can switch on, we take a moment and we light our own candles to represent our Christ light. So we'll do that. And the invitation, once you've lit your candle, is to hold it up so that we can see it. We are very visual beings, you know, we use our eyes to connect with the world and with each other. So this light is a symbol of the Christ light that we are. And it's a wonderful opportunity to honor that in ourselves and each other. So I can see that people are gathering candles, gathering your lights. And those of you that don't have that facility with you can still be part of this by looking at all the lights and recognizing the light, the outer light that represents the inner light. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world, according to thy perfect law. So as we close our eyes again and get quiet and still again and go into this stillness even deeper, know that with every breath we breathe in this deeper felt experience of God that is our wisdom, that is our strength, that is our love, our life, our well-being. And we know that this is the very ground of being that holds us, that is here expressing through us and as us. And into this presence, this power, this Holy Spirit, we go with open minds and hearts. So for all of those around us, all beings on our world, for every single experience that we have as human beings, let us know that God is here in the midst. The love and the life, the comfort, the strength, and also that sense of upliftment, of hope, of faith. The light within us that is working through us and as us. Amen.
So the word for today is forgive. but with a bit of a different intention. It's I extend forgiveness to myself, an important step in reawakening to our true being. Throughout my life, I have forgiven those who have hurt and disappointed me. In turn, I have been grateful when others extended understanding and forgiveness to me. Even though I have learned to be forgiving with others, I may still find it difficult to forgive myself for mistakes I've made, disappointments I may have caused, and commitments I have broken. Today, I open my heart, and with love and compassion, I forgive myself. I remind myself that everyone makes mistakes and deserves understanding and forgiveness, even me. Today, we open our hearts, and with love and compassion, we forgive ourselves. We remind ourselves that everyone makes mistakes and deserves understanding and forgiveness, even us. I remember how the prodigal son's father received him with joy when he came home. This joy is mine when I let go of self-condemnation and finally come home to myself. As we let go of self-condemnation, that inner critic, we finally come home to ourselves. And the Bible quotation from Luke 15, verse 20. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. So we take our attention back to the affirmation at the top of the page. And I suggest today we just say it 3 times as it is written, extending this forgiveness to ourselves. So I invite you to say it aloud at home with me. I extend forgiveness to myself. I extend forgiveness to myself. I extend forgiveness to myself. So we just spend a few moments opening our hearts to ourselves with love, understanding, kindness, gentleness, and letting go of past mistakes as we view them. And as we do that, we become more present.
Now I'm delighted to turn over to Paul now, who's put together a talk for us on forgiveness. So thank you, Paul. Bless you, sweetheart. I'm going to mute myself and hand over to you.
Now, those who know me know that when I come to do the talk on a Sunday, I tend to take whatever the daily word is for the day and then talk about it. And of course, today, as we just heard from Isabel, is forgiveness. And you know, for me, forgiveness is probably one of the greatest tools in the tool set we get in life, of how we live a better life. But before turning to daily word, because we're in the Lent season, rapidly running up to Easter, it's not long now until Good Friday. Probably one of the most famous sayings, or one of the famous quotes from Jesus, is when he said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." It comes from Luke 23, verse 34. And he said that, of course, when he was on the cross. And we seem to have this this saying in life that we each have a cross to bear. Well, I'm here to say that that's rubbish. None of us has a cross to bear. And for me, that was one of the wonderful lessons, if you like, metaphorically, that comes out of the resurrection, is that we don't take our cross with us. We may suffer things as we go through life. We may put ourselves through things as we go through life, but we don't take that cross with us. We get resurrected from it. But interestingly, one of the things we get when these incidents happen to us is we tend to get this thing called resentment. And that was talked about in the Lenten booklet earlier this month. And as I'm sure Beth would happily tell us with her wonderful mastery of the French language, resentment comes from the French verb sentir, which means feeling. So resentment is to re-feel something. And I don't know about you guys, but I do that all the time. You know, I think I've let go of something. I think I've forgiven it. And it comes back again. I re-feel it. And in the Lenten booklet, it said that resentment is a bit like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. You know, we kind of hold on to these feelings thinking, oh, that person did so and so to me, thinking that it's going to hurt them in some way. Well, it's not. The only person we're hurting is ourselves. And Matthew 7:1 says, do not judge so that you may not be judged. Do not judge so that you may not be judged. There's only one judge. There's only one person we have to live with all our lives. That's us. And we create all of this in our own minds. It isn't out there. Yes, stuff happens out there, but the judgment's in here. We do it to ourselves. And there's a wonderful story, if you don't mind, I'm going to tell. It's anecdotal. I've no idea whether it's true. But there's this story of this guy. He's at work and he's sat at his desk, happily working away, minding his own business. And he's a good lad. He's a good worker. He gets on with his job. He's very conscientious. He'd recently produced a really good report, and it seemed to be going down well. And then as he sat at his desk working away, a colleague walks past and she says to him, "Boss wants to see you in 10 minutes. And he stops and thinks, oh, okay, it's not a problem. I can do that in 10 minutes. Okay. Gets on with his work. And doesn't this happen to you where you're happily getting on with something, then a little voice starts going off in your head saying, yeah, but what's this about? And this little voice started in his head, why does the boss want to see me? The boss has never asked to see me. The boss just leaves me alone and gets on with my work. Why does the boss want to see me? I know what it is. Last week, I made that mistake on that invoice. But that was a tiny mistake. I mean, anyone could have done that. Why he wants to see me about that. And it was that woman she was the one who she must have told him, the miserable so-and-so. I'm not waiting 10 minutes. I'm in there now. I go right in there now to tell him exactly. He knows what he can do with his job. Strides over to it, straight into the boss's office. Before he can open his mouth, the boss says, John, thank you for coming in. This report you did last week, absolutely fabulous. Best thing I've seen for a long time. Look, we've got a supervisory role opening up, and I really want to talk. Look, I can see you're agitated. Have a seat, sit down, but let's have a talk about this. I don't know about you. I do that to myself all the time. Create these stories, and they're almost never true. And if they are true, they're vastly exaggerated in my mind. And this is kind of what this daily word is talking about. I extend forgiveness to myself. We don't forgive others. Others do what they choose to do. The only person we can actually forgive is ourselves, because it's me who does the judging. And that wonderful story of the prodigal son must have been used, probably tens of thousands of times in Unity as one of the wonderful metaphors for life. And this wonderful line of the father, filled with compassion, put arms around and kissed his son. Of course, his son had taken his inheritance, he'd gone off and he'd spent it all and had a wonderful time, then found himself from nothing and came crawling home, tail between his legs, expecting to have all sorts of manner of problems. And the father, of course, is God, hasn't judged him at all. There never has been a judgment. He's welcomed with open arms. There never was a problem. The problem was all in the mind of the prodigal son. So what is forgiveness? What actually is it? One of the definitions in the Oxford English Dictionary is to cease to harbour. To cease to harbour, to stop holding on to let go. Revealing Word, which is a book we use a lot in Unity, which was written by Charles Fillmore, explains a lot of terminology. And for forgiveness, it says, giving up the false for the true. Giving up the false for the true. The false, the stuff that we invent in our heads for the truth of who we really are. We are one. We are one with God. We are love. The false are the stories we invent. The little lad sat in his office desk. And forgiveness removes errors of the mind and produces true spiritual healing. That's what Revealing Word says. It's letting go. Because in reality, there is nothing that needs forgiving. It's all invention. It's all creation. It doesn't need to be forgiven. Our Father in heaven has never held it against us. So let's come back to this saying, Jesus on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. I guess in that position, he perhaps meant something fairly specific. I mean, one of the challenges with the Bible is we can never fully understand exactly what was meant when these things were said. But if we take this more metaphorically, who are the they? Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. Who is this they? This they is us. It's all of us. It's all of us because we all create these stories. And it's there that we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing to ourselves. We create these stories, and these stories give us our idea of what we think our life is, and they create our life experience. But it's not the truth of who we are. And it's Father, forgive, because your Father never held anything against you in the first place. That forgiveness is always there if we just let go of the nonsense in our minds. A cousin of mine, and this is a true story, a cousin of mine and his wife, they lived in Australia for a long time. They've now moved to Germany. About 2 or 3 years ago, their son, who was about 20, committed suicide. Now, they'd always had great faith, but obviously something like that hits anybody very, very hard. And the way they've dealt with it is one of them has already been through seminary in a different branch of Christianity. And the second one, my cousin, he's going through it as well. And so they've fallen back on their faith to help them deal with this, to help them let go of the blame that they took on board. They blamed themselves. They questioned themselves. What did we do wrong? What did we do wrong to cause this? What could we have done differently? And I admire them so much that they have found the faith to understand that it wasn't their fault, that they could let go of it. They could let go and let the healing flow through them. As I say, they're both now moving forward in a particular branch of Christianity. Coming back to the Bible again, in Proverbs 23:7, it says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." Now, Proverbs are ostensibly written by Solomon, so, we're probably going back 3,000 years here. So even 3,000 years ago, and probably before that, they understood for what we think, what we believe, what we hold to be true within us is our life experience. And so if we believe all the nonsense in our head, if I believe the nonsense in my head, that's who I think I am. but I'm not that. I can let go of it. And if we look at unity principles, the third unity principle, there are 5, by the way. The third unity principle is we are co-creators with God, creating reality through thoughts held in mind. It should probably say creating our reality. It doesn't mean the big reality out there. It means our reality, our life experience. Through my thoughts held in mind, I create it. And it also says, principle 5, through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. So having taken on board that creation, that life story, that thing that I think I am, as I act it out, it becomes my life. It can become my death, at least metaphorically speaking. But if I can let go of that, then I get back to my truth. Because I say, if the truth we know is guilt or blame or other thoughts that don't serve us, that would be our life experience. That's where my cousin was 2 years ago. As I say, I take my hat off to him, but he's dealt with this. And it affects our bodies. Science will tell us these days. I mean, the modern disease is stress. And stress comes out in all sorts of ways. It affects physically who we are. We all know that a simple thing like an excitement can make us sick. We've all seen children who've made themselves sick with excitement. We've seen how that effect can happen. So we must let go and realize the first unity principle. Probably the only one that day to day I tend to remember. I'm not very good at remembering the other 4. I had to look them up. But the first unity principle, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good. That's all there is, God the good. All the rest is my imaginations, what I've thought. And going back to that lovely daily word that Isabel read for us, today I open my heart and with love and compassion I forgive myself. Today I open my heart and with love and compassion I forgive myself. I extend forgiveness to myself. Every morning I do my own meditation and prayers. I'm sure most people do. And there was a daily word some time ago now, a few months ago. I'd actually wish I'd kept it. I didn't, but I use the affirmation all the time, and it's the same subject. And it said, through forgiveness, I am free. Through forgiveness, I am free. Freedom is our natural state. Freedom to be the truth of who we are. Freedom from all the nonsense. Freedom from all these noises that go on in our head. Freedom from all the hubbub. And the way we do that is through forgiveness, through letting go. There are various techniques out there you can use. I'm not going to go into those today. But as I said at the start, to me, the greatest tool we have is forgiveness. If I can genuinely let go of the noise, my stories, my inventions, then I am free, free to be the truth of who I am. Thank you, and I'll hand back to Kimberly, who I think is going to take us through a meditation.
I've taken a meditation based on one from Miranda McPherson's book, The Way of Grace. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and get quiet and still, and I will take you through this beautiful inner journey to the heart cave of the Absolute. So I invite you to get comfortable in your chairs, to gently close your eyes, and to let the world fall away as you turn your attention within. Bring your awareness to your breath and allow each inhale to be a welcome, a breathing in of the unconditional gift of life and love given in every moment. And allow each exhale to be a letting go, letting something melt, letting something dissolve. And now let your breath guide you to melt in and down to your heart center. Every breath taking you deeper, deeper into your heart. And know that here we are safe. We are secure. And that here we tap into our desire for true peace and liberation. Allow your breath to take you deeper into your heart centers, to feel into that deep desire of the heart for true peace and freedom. And as you let this desire grow in you, feel yourself being drawn to the back of your heart, to a place that is deep and dark and quiet. A place of stillness. It may feel as if your heart backs onto the infinite galaxy that opens, expands. Be open to however the heart cave shows itself to you now. And now find an empty altar in front of you, a space that welcomes you unconditionally and completely. And find this altar that has a spotlight, a beam of light, of pure love and grace shining onto it. And know that here is all the love and all the light and all the healing that you will ever need. In this place of unconditional love, this heart cave of the Absolute. On this altar, know that right now you can place all your judgments about yourself, all those stories that you tell, all those self-critical thoughts and judgments that separate you from love. Place them on the altar of absolute love now. Place on the altar any actions or words that you might have said or done that you can let go of now. Place anything on the altar about yourself that you might have labeled as bad. You can on this altar now put anything and everything. You can even place yourself on the altar and ask to be cleansed of all error thoughts and misperceptions. And now see, feel, sense a transparent cleansing aqua mist pervading the altar, pervading you and all you have placed on the altar. A transparent cleansing aqua mist. It may feel like soft healing vapor. Or being enveloped in pure, pure love. Let this presence of grace and forgiveness cleanse and heal you, removing all veils of distortion, revealing your true, beautiful innocence, your true light and beauty. Rest here and enjoy the heart cave of the Absolute. And so know that this is a place you can return to at any time, a place where you are unconditionally accepted and welcomed, a place to which you can take any hurts or feelings, any regrets, anything at all. We can take all to this absolute heart cave of love, this pure loving space within. Be healed, be free. And so now gently let us become aware of our breath once more. Breathing in this unconditional gift of love and life. And breathing out, letting ourselves be enveloped and one with this pure energy that we draw with us as we prepare to return now to this time and place. You may feel a sense of expansion, a sense of lightness, an experience of healing. Know that here you have been touched by grace. And so let us bring our awareness back fully now to our rooms, to the chairs that we're sitting upon, this physical space that holds us, knowing that we bring with us this beautiful heart energy that continues to bless us as we return to this afternoon together and as we begin to draw our service to a close. So continuing this energy, this sense of gratitude, we move to our closing prayer, which is our prayer for protection. And these days we have the I am statements that follow each line, and each I am is your divinity speaking out loud, the Christ in you represented through the I am statements. So let's read this together. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And so it is. Amen. So we close, as we always do, with our peace song, a wonderful unity tradition. So if you want to stand up, you can. Some of us will, I will be. And Paul's got the words up. And this is thanks to Gregory for playing this so that we record it to sing along to. Thank you, Paul. Bless you all. If you want to unmute yourselves and chat or say thank you or goodbye or wave or Show your love.
Thank you so much.
That was beautiful.
That was
Thank
really
you.
lovely.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. Lovely to
so
share
much.
it with
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Here,
Thank you, Paul.
here.
Thank you so much.